Heidi ho, Heidi ho, Heidi ho, my crafty friends. How are you today? I hope you're doing well. So today, I thought I would like to add, now this is our little blue journal. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad I looked at that because I had to put this in upside down. Our little blue butterfly journal that we made out of a Reader's Digest. I wanted to add something that crossed over the pages. So I've been playing with coloring book pages. And I got this. Let me show you what it looks like here. I actually printed it. Here. That's what the page looks like originally. And I printed a copy of the page on the back of this mixed media page so I could show you because, well, I left the original page on the printer. And then what I did yesterday was I played with some inks, and I played with my ink on some lightweight watercolor paper. It was 120 pound, and I let it dry overnight, and then I printed this same page onto my page that I did with my inks, and then I cut it out, and then I also did the same thing with my ink on this mixed media page. And I just did some different colors. So I like the pink better. I think you can see it a little bit better. So I think I'm going to use the pink today, but I am going to keep this. And as you can see, I messed up here. So if you're going to give this a try, you need to play with your printer. First of all, you need to print your, now this is just an adult coloring book page, okay? And it came out of this book. It came out of this book. And I like to buy these all the time to do stuff like this. It has all kinds of fun pages in it, you know, that you can do things with. But it's made to color in, but very rarely do I color in them. But if you're going to do something like this, your page will curl. Your edges will curl. Your whole page will go like this because it's wet. You know, you have to add water to it. But your inks are wet. So what I recommend doing is taping it down while it dries. Tape it down while it dries, or tape it down while you try to print it, because that's why I have this problem. I forgot to do that, and it got stuck in my printer, or I would have had a print that looks like this on the pink, and it would have been so pretty on the pink. But I forgot to tape it down. See how this edge is curled right here? That's what happened on my pink, except it was worse than that on the watercolor paper. It was curled up more and it got caught. So, and I couldn't catch it in time. So, make sure that you tape it to a piece of paper so that it's good and flat, or you tape it down while you're doing your project. Just tape it down like I do mine on this brown packing paper. Tape it down to keep it flat, either while you're doing your project or while you let it dry. Also, make sure you don't have any clothes on that you don't mind getting ink on. I had blue ink all over my hands and pink ink. I was covered. And unfortunately, it was time for dinner when I was finished. I had to scrub my hands terribly. Okay, so now on to this. So I would like this to go in here. Now, because of the little antenna, I have to really be careful. Now, I want this to show up a little bit more. I want this to be more distinguished. So I'm going to take my one of my black pens here. So I'm going to get into my black pens right here. I'm going to get into my black pens. Hold on, let me adjust you. All right, I'm going to get into my black pens. And I think I want something a little bit bigger here. That's a 5. Let's see how big is this one. Yeah, that might work. And I want to outline those and then take my small pin in the middle. So let me show you what I'm talking about here, because I want that middle. I don't want that middle to disappear or the antenna to disappear. So I'm just taking my black pen and I'm just going over it here on the outside. Okay. Now this is a 1.4. And now for his antenna, I'm doing the same thing. I'm just making him a little bit thicker. Okay, and I'm going to follow the top of his head. There. I didn't want his body part to disappear because it's going to get folded. Now, the tip of his antenna are a little bit smaller, so I need something a little bit smaller. I'm going to have to find something in here that's a little bit smaller. The 8 might work. That might be small enough. Okay. There we go. And then his body parts here. I'm just gently going over them. And then any other part that you want to go over, you can. But I didn't want his antenna and some of his body parts, you know, to just disappear when I put them on the page. Now, if you wanted them solid, you could use your Uniballs, you know, your number 1 Uniballs. If you wanted to change the color, you could do that. You know, I have pens that are colors. I could change those. But I don't want to change the color. I just didn't want them to get hidden when I put it in the crease. Now, to put it in the crease, I need to take my, let me show you what I'm gonna do with it here. Hold on, let me grab it. Oops, that's not it. Oh, here it is. It's right next to me. Good heavens. I'm sorry. Okay. That's right at my elbow. Okay, so I need to find the center of this. So I'm going to lay it down and very gently, okay, very gently, I'm going to come right down the center. So I need to put his body right down the center of one of those lines. Right down the center. That will help me fold it. Just right down the center. Just like that. Okay. Then I'm going to turn him over. And I'm going to do the same thing. Okay, and I'm going right down the same line. The same line that I did on the other side, I'm going down on this side. Now, I want to line him up. Oops, I don't want the antenna. I want to line his body up. And I want to fold him. Now, it's going to be hard to fold that small area, but I can fold his body a little bit. Because this is watercolor paper. Okay. Oops. Let's put this back together. Make sure I've got this going the right way. And I just want to put this right in the middle, like this. So when I open my book, that's going to open. I just want to be able to glue his body down. And I want to be able to glue it right there in the middle. Okay? Now to make sure it's glued well, I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac because this is watercolor paper. Now, I think my art glitter glue would work, but you know, I want to make sure. And I'm going right down the center. And I just want to make sure. I'm making sure I've got it there. And then I'm going to put it right in the center of the page. And I'm going to use my bone folder. And I'm going to tuck it in. Just like that. Okay. And I love doing things like this in journals. And I'm just going to hold it there for a second and let that glue kind of take hold. Oops, I guess I need to put the cap on the glue though, don't I? I'm just going to let it sit there for a second and let the glue take hold. I'm going to take a sip of my tea. And it's been a day. My coffee maker decided not to make, so I had to have tea. That's okay. I can have my tea in my favorite grandma mug. All right, so I'm just holding that in place there. So it's not wiggling. I think I'm going to send this book to my niece. So we're not going to decorate it a lot. I want to send it to her so she can do some decorating. I think this book, I have another book I might send to her, but it's decorated a lot. So I think I'm going to send her this one. We're going to let her do some decorating. She was my very, very first subscriber. So this book has to be really special. Okay. So there we go. So now let me show you what it would look like. We're going to close the page. Okay, so we've closed the page. And then when we open it up, there it is. So I think I want to kind of, whoops, pulled it right out of there, didn't I? I want to round these a little bit. Okay, I might have to put some glue on one side because I don't think that's going to hold being so thick. Let's see. I don't know, maybe it's going to. Maybe it will. I'm going to mark this page, and then as we work, I'll come back and check on it. So I'm going to mark that page, and then we'll come back and check on it as we're working. Now, I did something similar with another page out of that same book. Oops, get up there. That I want to use. Except I used my Inktense pens. Now, this is a page, it's got robins, and these are the cherry blossoms, and this is a mix of the, I forget the red, with the white over it of Inktense pens. Now, Inktense are water soluble until they dry. Now, once Inktense pens dry, they're permanent, okay? So you put down the red, and then you put the white over it, you use your water pen, and they'll move around, and then once it's dry, it's dry. So I thought, you know, this was the perfect time to do cherry blossoms. So I did the cherry blossoms. So I thought I wanted to use this page in my book and maybe make a side tuck or something like that. So let's go find a page. And I was thinking maybe back here or even up front. Okay, so there's the butterfly. Let's see how it's doing. Oh, it's looking pretty good. All right, so let's see what's up here. Okay, this is kind of gardeny. in this section. Let's see what's back here. Okay, that's got our butterfly in it. So maybe that's got the poem. Let's see about right in here. Let's see about right in here. Now, I do want to make sure we keep the birds. So let's see about maybe... What's on that side? That side's got some birds on it. So let's see about putting some of it over here. Yeah, if we put it over there, we could maybe cover the page and have quite a bit of it. I don't want to chop off that little bird's head if I don't need to. So let's see how much of it we need. Where's my pencil? Let's grab a pencil. And let's measure our page. So our page is 7 inches high and 5 inches wide. I do remember that. So let's see if we can cut that page down. Let's grab our cutter here and see what we can come up with to go over there. Okay. So 7 inches tall. Now I gotta make sure I do this right. Oops, I'm gonna get that little bird's head. I don't want to particularly do that. Let's see about cutting it this way. Maybe if we just trim off some of these flowers. Let's look down here and see. So if we trim off some of our flowers, so 5 inches just takes off a little bit of flowers, doesn't it? Oh, it takes off all of our flowers. Gosh, it just gives us all birds. All right, let's do it this way. Let's see what we have this way. Oh, now that's not bad that way. Gives us flowers and birds. All right, what if we trim off a little bit of our flowers? See, this is 8, how wide is this whole page? This is 8 inches wide. So let's see if maybe if we can center this to get our 5 inches and get a little bit of both. All right, let's do that before we start chopping. All right, I'm going to raise you here. I'm going to alter you so you can see what I'm doing with my ruler. So before I start chopping, I'm going to see about centering some things. So I need 5 inches. And I want the birds and I want some flowers. So if I cut off, let's see if I cut off an inch over here. That gives me a bird. It gives me flowers. And that gives me one bird with no beak. That's not too bad. All right, so maybe let's go on and do that. Let's cut off. Okay, you really need to get out of my way. You need to go back over here where you belong. Not these little tags I've been making. You need to sit up there so I can work. Okay, so we need to turn this upside down. So maybe let's cut off 1.5 inches. Oh, that might work even better. Okay, so that gives us flowers for something else. Okay, so there's 5. All right, that's getting there. All right, so let's turn it this way. Ah, that's better. Our bird still has his beak. All right, so now we're 5 inches wide. Oh, that's good. That's good. And okay, good. Now 7 inches long. Okay. Scoot yourself over there. Scoot over there. I'm still going to cut his head off, though. Yeah, I still like that bird. Let's cut off. How much do we need to cut off of that bottom to keep his head? All right, we need to cut off about that much. Let's see about keeping his head now. Almost. Sorry, dude. I think your head's just history. All right, how long are we? How long have we gotten to? We're getting there. All right, we're just going to go for it. Okay, and then we're going to put I think we're going to put these flowers back as a little pocket right there. Now, where did my mark go? Oh, dear. I hope she doesn't see me trying to find this, because she will laugh at me. Oh, there it is, right on the other side of my leaf, I think. She will be laughing. It's right there. She is a funny young lady. I just got to see her this weekend. There we go. That's better. Right there. So let's go on and get that pocket on. And then we'll go on and get this page put on. Oh dear, maybe we will. I think I need to fill my bottle up. Oh, goodness sakes. Do you guys have the same problems I do with these silly bottles? Because I'm telling you, they make me crazy. They just make me crazy sometimes. Sometimes I'm not sure they're worth it. You know, 1 minute they're happy and they're doing what they're supposed to do, and the next minute they are not happy and they're not doing anything. Holy guacamole. Okay, let's try it again. Let's make sure we're going the right way. I think I want it that way. Okay, that took care of that bird I was worried about. We just covered him up. There. Ah! Now he's gone. We don't have to worry about him. All right, let's get those paper towels out of our way. Alrighty. Now, let's put our page on that we've manipulated. Let's get this out of the way. I do have to tell you, I did enjoy creating that with the Inktense pens. I've had those for quite some time, and I don't use them very often. We'll definitely have to use those more often. So let's find our page, or let's find a page again. I think I'm going to put it here instead of where we looked at before, because this page is not very interesting, is it? So let me make sure you can see what I'm doing here. Since I've moved. Okay, you can. And you know what? Yeah, I think this will be all right. So I'm going to start here. And I am going to put it across the top. I want to make sure I have the top and the sides. And I'm going to line this up where I want it. And then I'm going to lift it up. And then I'm going to do the rest of it. And I think I definitely need to fill this bottle. Okay, now let's get it squished down. Oh, yeah, I definitely like that. I like that. And I don't think I got it very straight, or did I? No, I did not. So let's pull it up real quick. what I thought was straight is not straight. It looked straight, didn't it? It was straight. I don't know why it went crooked. Okay. Now, let's go back over here. Maybe my fold's not straight. Maybe that's why it didn't go down straight. Okay, so there's that one. Our 2 pages that we created with inks and Inktense pages. Now, let's find our butterfly here and check on it. Ah, that's holding up really well. And when you open the page, the butterfly just kind of stands up off the page at you. And I think it's going to hold up okay. Like I said, if it doesn't, I can always glue down one of the sides. But I think it's going to hold up okay. But I will keep it marked so I can keep an eye on it. Yeah, I do like that. That looks nice. Okay, so now on another page. So first let me check the time here. Make sure. Okay, we're just at 30 minutes, so I'm good. Okay, so now I did find in my paper hoard, I found that paper. It's called Fresh Air. That I didn't really even know that I had, or I forgot about it anyhow, that I had. And when I was flipping through it, there was a piece of paper in here that I really, really liked. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Yeah, we're definitely going to have to do something with this paper. But in the meantime, there was a piece in here that I wanted to make a pocket with. Now, that was one of them. That was one of them, but I don't want to use that one yet. I think it was that one. That's the one. And the reason I liked it was the blue and the yellow. And it matches, it matches the colors that were on, there was another one too, I think, that were on the front of our book. You know, originally before we covered it. Okay. Before we covered this book, some of the colors that were on this book. So I want to make a couple of layered tags to go on our on some pages. So we know our pages. We know our pages are about 5 inches wide. So let's cut. Let me cut a strip here. That's 5 inches wide. And I already have a scrap or two from something else I was doing that we can use with it. Okay, so I can put that over here. And let me go on and cut this because we're going to use this. And we're also going to use the plain one. We're going to use this one. Now, you guys know how much I love layered pockets. I just love them. Okay. Now, I have my 5-inch wide pieces. Now, before I can do this, though, I need to figure out what page I'm going to put it on. Because I need to, hold on. My throat is getting dry. So, I think I want to put those on. I think I want to put them on this page. Because that's going to tell me how deep I can get them. Now, I know I can't go any higher than 7 inches total because that's how tall my book is. So I need to decide what order I want these in. Do I want this on the bottom? Because, you know, they're going to be stacked like that. You know, that's how they get stacked. Do I want them like that? Do I want them like that? You know, because whatever's on top you don't really see a lot of it. Do I want them like that? I think I like it with the blue, the solid blue. It's not really solid. It's got little polka dots in the middle. I think I like that because it breaks up these two. This reminds me of kind of an Amish design that I would paint on a sign. This has got the little polka dots. I love polka dots, but I can't go any taller than 7 inches. Now, I don't want to go 7 inches because then I really can't get anything in it. The tallest I would go would be 5 inches. So I need to figure out how deep I want to make my pockets. And do I want to make this pocket open all the way down, you know, to the bottom? So I need to figure out how tall I want to make my pockets. So this pocket, I want to make, usually I make my bottom pocket about 2 inches. Well, this one I want to make a little bit deeper. I think I'm going to make it about 2.5. So I need to cut this piece at 2.5. Okay. And then, so there's my bottom pocket. So this piece, I can cut any size I want. I can cut it at 2. Now this piece, I can keep open. If I choose, I don't have to, but I'm also going to cut it at 2.5. So let's go over our measurements again. Let me get a hold of it. So I have 2 pieces at 2.5. I have my 2 printed pieces are 2.5 inches. My solid piece is 2 inches. When I go to put them together, they're going to be like this. Okay? On the back, it's going to look like this. Okay? Now let me number them for you. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay? When I put them together, I know I can't go any taller than 5 inches. Or I don't want to go any taller than 5 inches. So I can lay them on my mat. I can go up to 5 inches. Let me get a hold of them. I can put them all together. I can take my punch. Now it's your decision. Do you want to round your top corners? Do you want to ink them? What do you want to do with them? Now you need to decide. Well, I like rounded corners on mine, on my top edges. Because these are stacked, it doesn't really matter about anything except my 2 bigger pieces. Actually, this one's going to show. So I'm going to round this one. My bottom edges don't matter except for the first one. But I'm not going to round those because these aren't rounded. Okay? So it's going to look like this. My rounded corners go like this. But I'm not going to ink it. If I would ink it, it would be with sage. Most likely I would use sage, or if I had this lighter blue, I would use it. But I don't have that color blue. The blue maybe I do. Weathered wood might work. I don't know. I'd have to see. I don't think it would. No, it's too blue. I don't have that aqua color that I would want. My weathered wood is too blue. If I had that aqua color, I would ink it. It's kind of that color that I'm looking for. I would ink it that color. But I don't have that color. So if you're going to do any inking on them, now's the time to do it. If you're not, leave them alone. Okay? Now's the time to lay them out. So I'm going to lay them here. And then I'm going to put this one. Almost did it backwards, didn't I? I'm going to put this one here. And I want to make sure you can see me. Okay. And then this one's going to go here. And then this one can go here. Like that. Okay. Now, I'm going to put my hand on them. And I'm going to put just a little bit of glue on the edges to hold them in place. That's all I'm doing, is I'm just holding them in place so they don't wiggle. Okay? That's all I'm doing. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do the same thing. Now, there are other creators that might call these layered pockets. They might, there are all different words for them. I just call them my stacked pockets. Okay? Now let's flip them over. There we go. Are they where I want them? Well, that's not straight. So let's kind of move it over a little bit. That's why I just put a little bit. There. Okay. There we go. Now, this is open. I haven't put anything down here. Haven't put anything down here. So something that I'm going to put in there, something I put in the pocket is going to go all the way to the bottom. Something I put in this pocket can go all the way to the bottom of my page. Okay? So that's what I mean by, you know, deciding whether or not you want that pocket open. Because they can go all the way to the bottom of the page if you choose them to. If you want them to be closed, you can go on and close them now. But in a minute, you can't do that. Okay. Let's wipe this off. Whoops. Okay, now I'm closing them up like every other pocket. I'm going down the sides and across the bottom is one whole unit. Just like that. And then we'll come back and put the tags in them later. But I do want to show you. I want to make sure this glue is down where it's supposed to be. Now's the time to check your edges. Are they still glued? If they're not, now's the time to glue them. While you still have your hands on them. Because remember, we only put a little dot on them, and, they might need a little bit more. You never know. Mine do. Now, I have some tags over here that I made. This is what I was making before. So this tag can go all the way to the bottom. It's gone all the way to the bottom of the page. And even when I put it up here, it can go all the way to the bottom of the page. And when it does that, it has a place here for another tag. See, I can put a little tag right there. Plus, this up here is closed because of the thing here, but I can put a little tag right there. This one has there, and it pulls down, and it has a pocket over there. So this one goes there. That is attached. And here, I still need to make my closure for up here. Okay. Now these little tags, like these could go in here, or they can go someplace else. Remember, we made that for another, a different one. Actually, I made these all for a different one. But they could go in there. Now, something that goes back here needs to be bigger. It needs to be taller than this, so it sticks out. Because it'll be easier to get out. Okay? So, but this all needs to dry before you put anything in it. Because if it doesn't, it's all gonna get stuck on this glue and the glue that you have on your edges. So don't try putting anything in it yet, because it will get stuck. And then you won't be able to get it out. So there we have layered tags. We have, now where is she? We have our butterfly. We have, let's see, I think it's back here. We have our page that we did with the Inktense pencils right here. So we have a lot of different things in here that aren't taking up a lot of bulk. See, she's not taking up a lot of bulk. Now, did we? Yes, we did. Okay. So we took care of this, or I took care of this here. Made this lay a little flatter. And I think it still could lay a little flatter right through here. So let me show you how to do that. So you take your small scissors. Take your small scissors. You come in. Okay, and your fold that your paper is giving you is kind of giving me a guide of where I need to cut. Because it's folding my paper for me. Okay. There we go. Kind of folds my paper out for me. It's saying, you need to cut me here, girl. All right, let's see. Oh, that's better. Now it's not touching it at all. All right, let's put those away. All right, let's see. Let me close that. Oh, it's not touching it at all now. Okay. Let's get that off of there. Okay, so that's better. So there's our bird. Let's get that out of there. And then when you turn your bird over, you've got birds back here. Let's make sure that that's still stuck down. Okay, I think we got a lot done so far. So, I want to thank you guys for joining me today and for having some fun with some creative ideas that I've never done these before, and it was a lot of fun. I had a good time playing with these. And I hope you did too. And I hope you give them a try. If you've got Inktense pens or pencils. They're actually pencils. They look like colored pencils. And they're called Inktense. You can get them on Amazon. You can get them in your craft stores. And they are a lot of fun to work with. So you can try your Inktense pencils on something like this. You can work with your inks, whether they're spray inks, they're dry powder inks, whatever it is that you want to work with, and you can create pages like this with coloring book pages that you might have. You can draw. If you don't have a coloring book page, draw it yourself. After you have to let your ink dry, completely dry overnight before you attempt any of your drawings. After they've dried, then you can go from there. You can draw on them. You can print on them. You can do whatever you choose on them. And it's a lot of fun to add all the different layers to your inked pages that you now have as a background. So I'm glad that you joined me today, and we had some fun, and we decorated our journal. We're just getting started. So I hope that you come back and join me again. And as we continue decorating our journal and here at the Ladybug Journals. And until I see you again in the next video, ta-ta for now.